2212.
Straight from 2212, we present to you a discourse on trucks, bucks, and coconuts from yours, Robby Regalbuto.
I'll be okay, I think. Sure. I think so. Thanks, Caleb. Caleb was offering to me a microphone, but I don't know, as those who frequent the cafeteria know, there are certain ways that one can project one's voice by which they may be heard by more than they intend. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I guess it's my turn to talk now. And as it seems every year, or I should say every semester, I come up here, I talk, and for some reason, and this is still something that boggles my mind, people for some reason enjoy it. So, I figured, you know, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, maybe I'll go with that. As far as things to talk about, toast? Did someone say toast? Oh! Lee, you know me too well. Toast. Toast is absolutely fantastic. And those of my roommates know this particularly well because I'm always saying, hey, would you like a piece of toast? And they're like, no thanks, Robby, I'm alright. Like, but it's a toast! And yeah, it's great because you can have it, like, you got toast with peanut butter jelly toast. Yeah, Maria Lennon, you know what I'm talking about. Peanut butter jelly toast, fantastic. But you can have toast with salt and butter. If Ryan, where's the other Ryan? There he is. Yay, Ryan knows this one too. Ryan, that's also very good toast as well. But at the same time, there was something, oh goodness, this reminds me of something. Can I tell you the story? Yeah. It's a wonderful story. Actually, no, it's not a terribly particularly interesting story, but I'll tell it anyway. So, just before this act, or I guess before the show was starting, my roommates, who actually have an act up here in a little bit, it's going to be awesome, they were practicing for their performance. And I was like, gee, maybe I should practice too. Yeah, this is going to be great. And so the funny thing about me practicing this skit is it's great because I just get to look in the mirror and be like, hey, it's this guy. Oh man, I'm going to be up on stage making faces. Woo! And so I very much enjoyed that. But this reminds me, there was something on the topic of making faces that this is absolutely one of my favorite things to do whenever you're walking to class. And it's something that, well, so there are two parts to this. First off, one of my favorite things to do, this is outside of walking to class, whenever you're just around people, is to make a face at someone when they're not looking at you. And then what's better still, because there's two ways that this can end. First off, it'll either end with them looking at you, and then it's just like, well, my day just got more interesting. And look at that, you just made the world a little bit more interesting, right? Or better still, if the person just doesn't notice at all, and they look back at you and you're making a normal face again, well, just look at that. You just had like that little secret moment there where you were just, and then the other person had no clue, and you're just like, you got away with it, you know? It's fantastic like that. Anyway, this is the thing that I really love doing on the way to class, and it's so much fun. And I mean no insult to anyone because it's something that everyone does. In fact, there's something very similar that happens when you start juggling. Whenever people juggle, they have a juggling face, and it's really funny because it's just kind of like this. And where you can see whenever anyone does any sort of complicated pattern because you have to focus on this stuff happening out here and you can't focus on this. Anyway, so when you're walking off to class, a lot of times people have what I like to call a default expression. And it's this wonderful face that people make when they're not trying to think about making a face. And it's beautiful because sometimes you see, there's some more, you know, kind of just like, okay, well, you know, they're not maybe making a face, but then there's some people who just walk around like this, they'll like make, and other people who just like, they're very angry looking people out there. It's always very interesting. It's beautiful because you get this huge spectrum of faces as you're walking across the quad. It's very interesting. It's something that I very much enjoy because every time I notice I'm just like, oh, look at me, I'm smiling now, can't find my default face. And I find it extremely entertaining. The next time you walk across the quad, just start looking at people and just think like, I mean, people having a conversation, it's not as likely that they're going to be having a default, I should hope not at least, because if they're engaged in the conversation, they should be emoting, right? Anyway, but yeah, if you just see people walking around, it's fun sometimes. I think it's fantastic. Now, the name of my act was Trucks, Bucks, and Coconuts, and I don't know anything about bucks or coconuts, but I do know a thing or two about trucks. If I may share with you, once again, a brief little story. I don't want to take up too much time on this beautiful stage, but there is, last summer, I worked at a place place called Navistar. Navistar, which is not OnStar, which people think, oh, Navistar, they're the people that help you with your GPS. No, that's OnStar. Navistar is a truck engine company. They used to be known as International Truck and Engine, if I recall. And so, I get to Navistar. It should be very exciting. We got lots of stuff coming up. I'm going to go into this new internship, get a new, I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm going to go do an electrical engineer job. It looks like this will be fun. But then, we got, first off, we're waiting for like an hour, because it's like, oh, you got to wait for your supervisor to come. And of course, our supervisor didn't actually come. His underling came. And we're like, okay, well, we got our underling, we're going out. And they show us around, they say, okay, this section, go off with this group. This section, go off with this group. This section, controls. You guys are coming with me. It's like, oh boy, we finally get to go see where we work. And this was in the basement, by the way. The way the facility worked was that they had a basement level, then like a factory level, and then there's some offices off on the side. Like, oh great, we get to go in an office, get nice windows, good air conditioning. No, we were in the basement, and we walked across the hall. And we went into this very scary room. It was a room with, I believe we had about 3 feet of concrete above us. There was no windows. There weren't any, the only lighting was fluorescent, and there was nothing but fake plants. That room, every day that summer, that room. Luckily, there was good company there, and at least, my fellow interns, I could say, all right, well, here we are, stuck in the good old bunker down here. Woo! Never get to see the light of day. But it was a good experience. I enjoyed that at the very least. Anyway, that's my discourse on trucks, and I have nothing to say about bucks or coconuts. And with that, thank you for being a lovely audience.